You know, in the world of oncology, some medicines are way more than just drugs. They're absolute game changers. And carboplatin, it's definitely one of them. It's a refined weapon used in hospitals literally every single day. But have you ever wondered how it actually works? How does it manage to turn a cancer cell's own biology against itself? And what makes it so darn essential? Well, let's dive in and find out.
All right, so here's the plan. We're going to start with carboplatin's origin story, how it became a more tolerable weapon. Then, we'll get into the really cool stuff, its DNA sabotage plan. After that, we'll check out its hit list of cancers it targets. Then we're going to decode the super precise formula doctors use to dose it, understand its impact on the body, and finally, we'll see exactly why it's still a cornerstone of cancer care today.
Okay, so to really get carboplatin, you first have to know about the drug that came before it. See, this isn't just a story about a new medicine. It's really about a critical, much-needed upgrade in the fight against cancer.
So it all comes down to this big trade-off. The original drug, Cisplatin, was an absolute powerhouse, no doubt about it. But wow, was it harsh. We're talking severe kidney and nerve damage. So scientists were on a mission, right? They needed a solution, a drug with the same cancer-killing punch, but without those brutal side effects. And the answer they came up with, carboplatin. Just as effective, but way, way kinder to a patient's kidneys and nerves.
So, at its very core, carboplatin is what's called a cytotoxic drug. And honestly, the name pretty much says it all. Cyto means cell, and toxic means poison. So yeah, its entire job is to be a cell killer. But here's the genius part. It's designed to go after cells that are dividing really, really fast, which, of course, is the signature move of cancer cells. All right, now let's zoom right inside the cancer cell itself and see carboplatin's strategy. And it is both elegant and absolutely brutal. This is its DNA sabotage plan.
It's basically a 5-step attack. First, the drug gets activated in the bloodstream. Then, it's like a secret agent. It sneaks into the cancer cell's nucleus and bam, latches right onto the DNA. What it does then is create these damaging links, they're called adducts, that literally bend and distort the DNA shape. And this damage, it's absolutely catastrophic for the cell. It completely blocks it from copying its DNA or making proteins, you know, the basic stuff it needs to survive. So what's the final blow? The cell basically realizes the damage is just too much to fix, and it hits its own self-destruct button.
And get this, the damage isn't random. It happens in 2 specific ways. The vast majority of the time, like 90%, it creates what are called intra-strand crosslinks. Think of it like tying a knot in a single piece of string. It links 2 points on the same strand of DNA, causing a massive bend. The other 10% of the time, it creates interstrand links. This is more like welding a zipper shut. It locks the 2 separate strands of the DNA helix together. Either way, it's totally devastating for the cell.
And that's the endgame right there. See, carboplatin doesn't just poison the cell. It goes deeper. It corrupts its core programming, the DNA, so completely that the cell is literally left with no choice but to destroy itself. It's basically forced suicide, and that's what stops the cancer dead in its tracks, preventing it from growing and spreading.
Okay, so we know how it works its magic. Now let's talk about where it works. It's time to check out carboplatin's hit list, the specific cancers this thing is really good at fighting. I mean, carboplatin is a major player against a whole range of solid tumors. It's a go-to first-line treatment for both ovarian and lung cancer, often used with other drugs. It's also a key weapon against cancers in the head and neck, the bladder, and even certain germ cell tumors like testicular cancer. And that versatility? That's exactly what makes it so indispensable for oncologists.
All right, now let's talk about something really unique about this drug, how doctors figure out the right dose. This is definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. Getting the dose just right is a science, and it takes an incredible amount of precision.
So, the big question is, how do they actually do it? How do oncologists walk that fine line, making sure a patient gets enough of the drug to kill the cancer, but not so much that it becomes dangerously toxic?
Well, they use the Calvert formula. And this is a big deal because unlike most chemotherapy drugs that are dosed based on your body size, carboplatin is different. The dose is calculated based on how well a patient's kidneys are working. And this formula, this is the key to the whole thing.
So let's break this down real quick. The target AUC is basically the level of drug exposure the doctor is aiming for over time. But the really critical part, the star of the show here, is the GFR. That stands for glomerular filtration rate. It's a direct measurement of how well your kidneys are functioning. And since your kidneys are what clear the drug out of your body,
This formula makes sure that every single patient gets a dose that's perfectly tailored to them and their kidney health. It's super personalized.
Of course, a drug this powerful doesn't just affect cancer cells. So now we have to talk about the side effects. It's really the unavoidable consequence when you're using such a powerful weapon to attack the body's front line.
Here's the thing you have to remember. Carboplatin is brilliant, but it's also a bit of a blunt instrument. It's programmed to kill any cell that's dividing quickly. The problem is, it can't tell the difference between a cancer cell and other healthy cells that also divide fast, like the ones in your bone marrow or your hair follicles. And that, right there, is the fundamental reason for pretty much all of chemotherapy's side effects.
And this brings us right back to that central trade-off we talked about at the beginning. While carboplatin is much easier on the kidneys and nerves compared to cisplatin, it has a different primary target for its side effects, the bone marrow. This is called myelosuppression, and it's by far its most common and most serious side effect.
So when the bone marrow gets suppressed, it leads to three main problems. First, you can get thrombocytopenia. That's a big word for a drop in platelets, which are your blood clotting cells, so it raises the risk of bleeding. Second is anemia, a drop in red blood cells, which can leave you feeling super tired. And the most serious one is neutropenia. That's a severe drop in the white blood cells that fight infection, which can leave a patient really vulnerable.
So, after weighing its incredible power against its serious side effects, what is carboplatin's legacy? Well, it is, without a doubt, an absolute cornerstone of modern cancer care.
I mean, this one fact pretty much says it all. Carboplatin is considered so vital, so effective, and so necessary for any healthcare system that the World Health Organization includes it on its official list of essential medicines. Its impact isn't just big, it's global.
Ultimately, it's exactly what it was designed to be, a more refined, highly effective, and just fundamental tool. For decades now, it's given oncologists a powerful weapon they can use with precision, and it has saved and extended countless lives in the process.
You know, carboplatin was such a brilliant refinement of an earlier breakthrough. It was all about trading one really tough set of toxicities for another, more manageable one. It really makes you wonder, right? As our understanding of biology gets even more sophisticated, what will the next great leap forward in cancer therapy look like?